have you been asked the question? I assume you have, but what would you have done if you had full control over Rise of Skywalker? You had no choice but to keep the continuity of the first two.
Oh my gosh. I haven't even really thought of that because I just think it's too much of a headache,
It's
to
too
be
much of a
honest.
nightmare, isn't it? Because
It is.
the
I
thing
just
is, you try and sneak in retcons if they said you couldn't have them. You'd be like, okay.
well, what?
But
So I
you'd still
can't
want
have Luke waking up from a bad dream?
it. That's obviously
Oh,
you wouldn't be
seriously?
allowed to do that. But well, that's the thing.
Okay.
I would
Okay.
probably want to just try and throw in, even if I wasn't allowed to
So
retcon anything, that like the real Luke hasn't been found yet or something.
okay. So here's what I do. I would have the film start off with whatever Ray and whatever she's doing, she's training or whatever. We go a little bit, then we go to Kylo, and then everyone's still wondering like, where's Luke? What's going on with Luke? Is he dead? Then we go into like this cloud, white cloud, and we're now entering a completely different realm, and we're now into the not the world between worlds, but what the next realm would be when you die. So we would be into the netherworld, the force, whatever you want to call it. Then that's where we would have the camera maybe be like panning a little bit to the right, and then we would have voices of everyone that we know, and Yoda, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Luke, so on and so forth, maybe even Qui-Gon as a voice. And then we would have Luke maybe sitting there and meditating or something and learning from them or talking with all of them or walking with them. And it's some super strange world that we haven't visited before. Everything is extremely, I don't know, it could be a world, or it could be very much like, that scene in Harry Potter? I think it was the seventh one where Dumbledore's dead and it's the train station
Oh
where
yeah, yeah.
Harry's having, yeah. So it could be something like that where it's all white and kind of just like almost like the Matrix sort of. And we see Luke training, and throughout the film, he's kind of training and learning more aspects of the Force because he now is the Force. And so he unlocks this new ability, which they've all been trying to do, I suppose, but he unlocks it, and now he can actually go back and forth between this world and the living. And so he goes to the living world, but not even as a Force ghost, he's just a manifestation of midichlorians. And so he is full on there, and he like cannot die anymore. But then we have Snoke come back. He's not dead. Okay, his vessel went into something else or someone else, whatever, or he just I don't
Or
know.
you tricked Kylo, right?
He
Like,
tricked
that
Kylo
wasn't
as
me.
like a Force. He did the Force vision as well. Okay, so there's
Mhm.
two of them. Then from there we have Snoke potentially. I lost my train of thought. Fuck. So much mental gymnastics right off the cusp.
No,
Uh,
yeah, no, I'm with you on that because it's like, what the fuck do we do with Luke exactly? What you're trying to come up with is any way
Oh,
we
okay.
could
Here
get
we
him
go. Here
back
I got it. I
without
got it. I got it.
fucking
I
it
got
up.
it. So then Snoke finds a way to actually eliminate a Force ghost completely. You don't exist anymore. Not even as a Force ghost or whatever. You're dead. Like you ain't coming back. You're nothing. You're not even a thought or anything in the Force. And so Snoke is now working on completely destroying and killing all of the Force ghosts. And so in the end, it comes to this final battle of Kylo and Rey, and Luke against Snoke. But Snoke now has ransom of all of the Force ghosts, and he's going to eliminate all of them. And Qui-Gon and Yoda and Anakin and all these guys are there, and they're just like, you have to let it happen. It's the will of the Force. And Luke is like now teetering into the light and dark, and he's just manifesting all levels of the Force. And from there, I would say it could get pretty interesting. Maybe Snoke kills off a few of the original characters, full on, actually like destroys Obi-Wan or Yoda or something like that, but not before maybe they go into Luke somehow. I don't know, and they become part of him, and he becomes all the Jedi. And in the end, maybe Luke sacrifices himself completely for Rey and Kylo and Rey, both become good, and Kylo becomes good, and then they both defeat Snoke after he's been beaten down. I don't know, just making it up.
No, I get you're on the spot. And the thing is, like, I don't even know if Disney would ever approve of ideas like that. Like, that would be a pretty abstract movie if it was focused way more on the Force Ghosts than like most of anything else, or what comes after
I
life.
don't know.
And I
Yeah, I
feel
don't
like
know.
they'd be like, you got to make it. It needs to be more about Rey. Like, what's Rey doing? Which for me, if I control over, I'm putting her through hell pretty quickly. And I don't know. I would even have maybe argue that like Snoke set her up. He's been providing her power because he
Yeah,
wanted to move her into a particular place. Like,
yeah.
imagine her having to go through that. That everything she's experienced and felt as a power was
It's
all,
fake.
yeah, none of it was actually hers. I feel
Yeah,
like
that'd be
that would be
dope.
interesting for her to have to deal with.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would love for Plagueis to come back and make an appearance somehow. You know, because that whole theme of him being able to cheat death, but then doesn't do it himself, I've heard is like some of the biggest bullshit. So many fans have talked about. They're like, well, how could he could do it? He was literally the one who invented it, and then Palpatine just kills him. So it's like, well, why don't we just have him come back?
Remember, people thought that's what Snoke was when the TFA first came out.
Yeah.